Dear friends, I talk you after worked to the third lesson. The third lesson is all practice, all made on a piece, which is called Another Morning of Life. Is born from a poem, a little poetry written by me. Is made in two parts, one A and one B section. Is worked using the montage, the recording singing parts and elaborating them. We have used also the media of recording sound objects, sound sequences especially, and pasted to the piece to obtain textures, add the textures. We have also some synthesizer parts, some simple but very important synthesizer parts, but we will talk about synthesizer many more in other lessons. This is very interesting lesson because it's a complete piece that you can follow each state, each section after one each section, so you can see how I work and then inspire yourself about working, about composing. This is very important to see when an artist is working, to learn how can you do something or to reach some advices. Okay, have a nice day, have a nice course, have a nice lesson for the third lesson. Here we go. I worked first on a soundscape taken this morning, early in the morning, with birds, wind. There was a great wind with the leaves of the trees that was moving, making noise, etc. This is the result. I took a record of I guess 7 seconds circa, no? And then I mounted in little pieces like this, little pieces, little parts, little clips, no? Redimensioned and mounted one each after the other. Then I took another take, also by normalizing it, and bringing down here the tracks, the audio clips. The same audio clip is repeated with the different envelope of amplitude. As you can see here, there is an amplitude by different using the amplitude of the audio clips. Here is another soundscape, took in a position in time a little different after 5-6 minutes, with birds, wind, etc. And here are other two selected by region. So the region I listened, I liked, I selected and then repeated all these with reverbs, send reverbs. I used the Roomworks SE that is included for free as a product of device of Cubase 3. I used reverberation in various tracks, and also using spatializer at the end, especially in the master track. At the end I introduced a brick wall in the final, as always, with release 3, so the slowest release I can, all in the left, and the threshold to 0 dBs. So it can intervene only at 0 dBs as a maximum volume. Then I used a spatializer, which is this. I make you in function. This makes three is a little app that costs very little, a few euros, and makes great spatialization, automatic spatialization, three-dimensional, taking some parameters of input as the shape of the functions of spatialization. Very interesting. I let you see the result. Okay, this is the soundscape. I will put the sounds, all the soundscape at the end of the piece because I stop a bit, because the form is this. I have written a poetical text, and the first part, the A section, is about these verses. Make fly birds again, you can. And this is the A section. The B section will be based around this text. Another day is another morning of life. I will use these words as singed words, one note, as you see, one note for each word. Do, la, sol, fi, sol, re, re, ma. I think like this. Make fly birds again. You can. I think like this, but I will record one of each one word with the prolonged note to make a counterpoint about superimposition of sounds, and to make colors about my singing voice, and etc. The B section will be a recitando with a bit of cantillazione. Cantillazione is a thing made by priests in Italy, for example, where they make mass, and they speak, they talk about, they read at a religious text, intonating on, for example, the note Fa, then or the note D, the note C, pardon, the note Fa or the note C. Another day is another morning of life. I think like this. All this, the reading is pitched on a pitch, all reconnectable to a pitch. I advise you to solfege the materials until you are ready for you. Solfeging the materials because we are gonna making some other recording, etc. Then I will show you all the process, and this is only a point of view clearly, but is only to make you see all many kind of operations that you can reinterpret and remake yours. avoid to have fear. You can always remake the performances when you record. We are gonna record some sounds, some sequence of sounds that we are gonna mount, remount, and put in form. Mount sounds using your musical intuition with or without notation available. We will use this, for example, this is a kind of notation clearly, but is not the only that you can use. You can use, for example, traditional notation or nothing of notation. No notation, using only the reference of the computer, the iPad. This is my iPad. You can only use, for example, the notation of this device. We are gonna start. I wear my earplugs because I'm going to record via the earplugs, listening the sounds in the background of the sequencer inside my head. Okay, the first track, I can check the pitches, tuning my singing voice with the keyboard. Do, as you can see, there is a keyboard. Do, la, sol. We record the first word. Here we go. May fly, bird again. You can, you can. Okay, here we have the recording. Maybe because they were different pitches, I like to record the last you can on the sequencer. See, you can, you can. You can, you can make fly birds again. You can, you can make fly birds again. I got the other material, so I can remount it. I can remount all and placing it in various places in time. Okay, here I can record the second part, second vocal parts is recitando with cantillazione. Another day is another morning of life. I select the pitch as a reference is the fa. Fa, fa. It's like another day is another morning of life. Record. Here we go. Appunto da solo. Another day is another day is another morning of life. Another day is another day is another morning of life. Another day is another day is another morning of life. Okay, I recorded the 3 takes to choose about to take some regions, for example, in reproducing polyphony, and make polyphony about words, also using reverbs, delays, etc. Okay, this part I will take recordings about some objects I took here, and I can use for make some sequences about morphologies of sounds, and then I will go to process these sequences to repitch, to tune the sequences in a kind of mode I'd like to do. I didn't plan all, but I know only that I have to record some kind of gestures I tested before a bit with these objects, and I can take some material to use in the composition. That's the first. The second. I'm improvising with these materials, and the sounds turn around my head, because I've got my ear plugs inside with the microphones that are recording. They are simple Bluetooth ear plugs. Not you don't need to spend a lot. From 20 to 40 euros, you find all the best you can. You can read it, you can buy it on Amazon. You can save money. these were the parts. Then you will listen all in the final version of the montage. Now we have all the material we need, and we can go to compose, to let us see what we can do with the materials. Okay, here we go. We are going to see all the passages of mounting. For example, I took some materials and looping them, then changing the area selected, selecting the region of the clip like this. You can select the region you want to use about a sequence of sound. I displaced these sounds under the voice, also transposing the sequences by octave using the transpose function. Okay, selecting the clip and displacing in different octaves the materials. The result for now is this. Now I'd like to make other polyphony, doubling these tracks, the first and the second, and taking making a thing like this, like a kind of a canon, attaching to a bar. See, we attach to a point, or a starting point for the canon. I'd like to use, for example, the fifth bar, the initial part of the six, the five, the fifth. As you see, there is a canon. We can hear the canon all together. Very graceful. And under there is the soundscape made this morning. Good. I'm going to copy this canon and to re-editing after all. Okay, I selected all the little clips with selection tool, which is this select tool, and then made the glue, used the glue tool to gluing up all the clips in tracks, longer tracks. Then I copied the tracks to this other copy, this other instance of the canon, to put at the 10th measure to make polyphony. Then we add another at the, for example, at the 17, we make a stretto, like the fugue, a stretto where the material come always rapidly and with urgence, more urgence. We can try. Then we can make it from 17, 23, 22, 22. Okay, let me hear the result. I don't know how will be. I can add splicing randomly these materials. Remember that there is always the undo tool. I will splice this track randomly, but we can also look at the waveforms, because there are peaks that are attack points. The attack points can be used for make polyphony between the clips, because for example here you can join in time objects, aligning attack points. Very interesting. Also by seeing the materials. Here is a random kind of montage. This part, only this part is random. Okay. I put also an instance of this here. Also with the junction of vertical junction of an attack point. So they joint at the center point and they make like a machinery, but is a natural, in reality is a natural interaction between objects. Let us hear all. Works very well. It's a variable canon. Okay, I'm at the end of the montage. I made another recording with some vocalism, some notes added under the second phrase of the second part. This is the A section, with the underlying soundscape. Then the B section, A and B, the phrase A and phrase B that are cutted in two parts, cleared two parts, but interpolated by the soundscape, which ends a bit of a half of the second part. The second part is here, as you can see, and at a certain point there is another sequence of the soundscape, a strong sequence that came and is under the second part. Okay, I added this part. Pardon. I added this part. Okay, we can hear the second part. So that's the track. One thing that I advise you on is that you can also put polyphony, one sound on top of the other with the tracks, or one sound over the other, copying the clip one on top of the other. This is can be reached in Cubase 3. This is very practical because you can make also phasings, also like this. When you have a clip, the other clip a bit nearer the starting point, not at the end, but a bit before the end. The other a bit before the end, the other a bit before the end, creating like an elastic relation between the rhythmical and melodical materials. So this is very interesting. The phasing coming, for example, a technique coming from the great composer Steve Reich. If you listen at violin phase, for example, and many other of this composition, piano phase, I guess, violin phase. That's nearly all. The last thing that I'd like to say you is that sometimes some materials are copied and pasted randomly, but the last judge is the ear. Your ear is the last judge. You make this music hearing directly on the material. This is fundamental because you cannot write all on paper clearly. You cannot write for some electroacoustic composers. You cannot write a lot until you hear it on a device. But for me is a bit an hybrid thing sometimes. I can write a bit, then rechange, transform all in a phase of working on the instrument. I guess you to test all the possibilities about writing parts, then recording, then transform, or record directly with improvisation, with non-notational approach by memory, by instinct, then rework it on directly on the media, directly on sound, like said from the great Pierre Schaeffer, who lives always inside of us. Dear friends, dear students, a thing that I like to talk about is the rhythm of the montage. You can choose two different perspectives. For example, one perspective is to hear the material, like sound, and to put in rhythm other objects, and by ear putting the sounds in place and in the place where you want to place it. Okay, this is the approach by ear. Another approach is very interesting for me, is an approach by rhythm of the montage, by counting the bars in the sequencer. For example, you can add a copy of this track after 4 bars, 5 bars, 5 bars, for example, from 49 to 54 is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, then put in polyphony. And then one after 7, one after 3, and create sequences of numbers to recreate a looping by different times of entrance. This is very interesting because you can create complex textures also with serial techniques that we will talk about a lot in montage and in electroacoustic music. This is very interesting to approach, for example, with a series of 4 numbers: 5, 7, 3, and 4. 5, 7, 3, and 4. After 5, after 7, after 3, and after 4. After 5, after 7, after 3, and after 4. And then a loop of these, also in polyphony, also rotating the series, re-elaborating these numbers in different modes. For example, exchanging the order 3, 5, 7, 4, or 4, 7, 3, 5. Exchanging them and then make montages by logical point of view, then listen, and I recommend you to sculpt the sound always by ear at the end, and listening if the fade in, fade out are all good, and for example the entrances of the starts of the clips are well fade in. I talk this with this verb, fade in, fade-ining, to make fade-ins, because you need sometimes, not always, a gradual approach to don't have an abrupt entrance of the sound. Okay. To refine all, I'd like now to add a synthesizer part. I will use Apparillo, which is this instrument, is an app available as or sometimes is in AV3, which is like a VST but for Apple iPads. And this is a very interesting synthesizer. Is available for iPad around some tens of euro, and you can do a lot of things with this instrument, creating particular textures. Now I start with for example a pad, then I will change it. We choose an octave. I'd like to add a lower part. Okay, I'd like to resculpt the sound using the keyboard and the parameters. Many parameters are usable from an intuitive point of view. Resculpt. This is just interesting. Change this. This is the way the synthesizer is cabled. This is interesting. I keep like this, and we go to record a sequence. But the keyboard, the one of the things that I like in Cubase 3 of the many is that you have a keyboard just mapped on the instrument you use. So it's very usable and very beautiful to use it. Because you can record directly on the material your sequences. Armed track for recording with the red spot here, and we go. Okay, I recorded a good part, especially I like the second part with a lot of chromatism, using the notes of the material, the fourth part of the second part, using the notes, and also expanding a bit the palette of the tones with the alterations that are available in the cycle of fifths. For example, if I have a B flat, I can enter also a E flat. For example, a T, I can add a Me. For example, for a F sharp, which is a F, F sharp, I can add a C sharp, which is a D, F and D, because there is an affinity between these two sounds, because one enter because there is the other. Very interesting this. I edit a bit with the volume levels, and then I will make you a bit a briefing about all we have done, and we talk about all. You can find the recording of this track also with the sequencer parts, etc. Okay, let's talk about after a bit. As a final touch, I added another track of Apariglio, copying the sequences I recorded with the keyboard, but adding another preset I changed. I created a deeper sound from a preset of a bass, patted in polyphony, and then I added to this bass the reverb, a big reverb, to make him resonating in a foreground. This is the bass. These are the only two tracks you are listening. I patterned them in solo. As you heard, the material is coherent. It's about 5 measures of delay. 5 measures of delaying the sequence in canon. Polyphony. There is a coherence between the two structures. The two structures share the same pitches, but in different moments of time. This is very important to know, to use these techniques, to recall also the tradition of music, and find beauty in the past of music. Okay, we ended with our process of composition with the final piece that is published on the streaming services. You find, for example, in the Muse, in YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. You can listen carefully and re-look at the process of the video, where you find all the details, etc. An advice on the global piece is a piece based on landscape of sounds, big reverberation times, big spaces, far sounds, because with the reverb you have also far sounds. Without reverb you have near sounds. Is about longer notes, is about colors, is about a point of view, on a landscape, on a morning. I catch the recorded in a moment, in a delicate in a delicate moment. Thank you very much, dear students, and salute from Giorgio Bianchi.